Have you ever dreamed of playing professional baseball? Do you think you have what it takes? Well, now's your chance to prove it. We're looking for the next baseball superstar. Register at thetryout.com for your chance to prove you have what it takes.
Finally tonight here, our person of the week, finally making it to his field of dreams. Landis Sims was born missing his hands and his lower legs, but it never stopped him from pursuing his love of baseball. Look at him at age 2.
Show him your wind-up and your pitch.
This was way beyond anything that I could handle, and the determination that he has, it's made it easier to handle the challenges that we have because he's so willing to just face it head on.
Run, Landis, run, buddy!
Since he was a little boy, Landis has dreamed big.
I was born missing my hands and feet. When I grow up, I want to play baseball for the Yankees.
He's very confident in who he is and his baseball abilities, and he'll be the first one to tell you. He's going to play in the MLB. He's going to be the first Yankee to be missing all 4 limbs.
Let's have you sign where it says player signature.
And this week, for that boy from Indiana, a dream come true, signing a one-day contract with the Yankees.
Congratulations, you're a Yankee.
The team in the locker room applauded for their new player. On the field with A-Rod, soon it was his turn at bat, using his specially made prosthetic to hit the ball.
All right, baby. Nice, Landis.
An official Yankee for a day.
Good job, buddy.
And a smile to last a lifetime. And so we choose Landis Sims, and of course, I hope you'll join me for that eye-opening 2020 later tonight, Breaking Point, Heroin in America, moments we never thought we'd witness. We'll see you later here. Good night.
Reach out, oh, with Ray and Steve. Reach out, with Ray and Steve. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the car.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Welcome to Reach Out with Ray and Steve. This is the show where East meets West, where the Yankees meet the Dodgers, and baseball meets music. And then we all come together for community. All right, now it's time for Ray and Steve.
Thank you, Robby Robinson. Okay. I don't know if he's wearing his Dodger uniform anymore because the Dodgers are out.
No, he's got to wear it. He's a loyalist. You got to be representing.
That's right.
Especially on this show.
Had these playoffs been off the hook, I mean, every series, the Padre Dodger, the Brave Philly, the Mariner Astro, the Yankee Indian, unbelievable games.
Well, all I know is that every team, listen, we're playing the best of the best right now. And you see that with all these terrific hitters that are being stopped.
Right.
And with that being said, I want to bring on our baseball expert, Mr. Dom Scala, one of our, 44 years ago was in the Yankee bullpen coaching Catfish Hunter and Ronnie Guidry and Sparky Lau and getting them all ready.
There's Dom.
Let's get Dom on.
All right, let's talk baseball with Dom Scala. Disco Dom. Hey. We can't.
Hey, Dom, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, Dom.
Hey, how about now?
What an entrance that was.
Thanks for messing up our show, Dom.
I'm so sorry, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, boys. How are you?
Dom, you see how I'm representing, right?
I see that. I got mine on too. See that?
Okay.
And tomorrow night is my first full clinic of the 2022 season. I have 30 kids ready to go tomorrow night.
Wow, that is awesome. Now, before we talk about the tryout that we had a couple of days ago, what'd you think of the Yankees-Indian series?
I'll tell you what, as Ray was just saying, great pitching. This is the time of the year the best of the best are out there. And the great pitching is going to stop great hitting. However, two great hitters yesterday came through for the Yankees early in the game, which they needed to do. And of course, Nestor gave 5 great innings, and I believe in fate. And that rain out was a big plus for the Yankees. It really was. I think it gave Nestor an extra 2 or 3 innings because he needed that extra day's rest.
That's right. Let's check out these home runs by Stanton and Judge that put the Yanks in Houston. In about 30 minutes, they'll be teeing off in a little while. Let's check out those home runs.
A drive to right center field. Back near the wall and gone. He hit 31 during the season. This is his second of this series. And the Yankees jump on Savali in the first and take a 3-0 lead. High fly ball, right field and deep. Back near the wall is Gonzalez. It's gone. Shot by Stanton. Solo by Judge. 4-0.
Because he needs to get going. There's no doubt. Ray and I were talking. He needs to get going. There's no doubt.
So do you think the Yankees could take apart the Astros, or how do you see the series going down?
Well, I don't know about taking them apart. It's going to be, it's going to be a battle. I believe it's going to be a battle, but I believe the Yankees are going to come out on top this time. I really do. I think that, when I was coaching at Adelphi, there was always a guy in the lineup that I needed to stay away from. The Yankees need to stay away from Alvarez, okay? A big mistake that the other teams made was that they pitched to him, Now, I'm not saying you can't throw a strike to him, but in certain situations, you have to let him hit your pitch. You can't just give him a pitch down the middle like Seattle did. The guy had an 0-1 count, and he threw another fastball, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, which is batting practice speed today in today's game, and he threw it right in his wheelhouse. I know that he could be saying, well, I really didn't want to throw it there, but you got to throw that ball off the plate somewhere. You can't let him get comfortable, especially when he just missed the first pitch there. But as I'm saying again, you got to stay away from him. You let the next guy beat you. You have to let the next guy beat you no matter what.
But Dominic, how do you set up the pitching in this situation right now?
How do I set up the Yankee pitching?
Yeah.
Well, they got to go with first of all, they were in games, they played 4 days in a row. They played a series before that. So, you have to go with guys that have gotten you there. I know that Tyone, a lot of people don't like him, but I'll tell you the truth. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people tonight. I really do. I think he's ready to go. And, I think you got to go with Tyone, and then you got to go with Sevy because he's on his rest. And then you got to pitch Cole. You got to give him his rest. I really do. You have to make sure that he's ready because you got to worry. You can't worry about down the road. You got to worry about the game that you're playing. You got to win those games. Okay?
No doubt. We got two people we got to bring on. Robby Robinson, our co-host, and Dave Grafstein, who's a co-host of Flashback Sports. Let's bring these guys on. We want to talk Dodger baseball, but there's nothing to talk about.
How's it going? Hi, Dave.
Hey, guys. Hey, Robby, how you doing, guys?
Hey, how you doing,
Great,
Robby?
Dom, Steve.
Hey, hi,
how
Dave.
you guys doing?
How's everything, man? Great
All
show
good.
you got, buddy. Great
Thank
show.
you. Appreciate the help.
So, Robby.
Hey, say hi to my brother, Herb.
That's it. Herb.
Herb.
By the way, this is the very first reach out show that I have ever not worn my Dodger garb. And
With good reason.
This morning, I am in such. I'm still trying to get over it. I'm in this different states of mourning, and I'm just trying to get over it. So this is the first time I'm not wearing Dodger anything.
I see you're wearing black, though.
Yeah, I am wearing black, no question.
Yeah, Robby, we're having some technical problems. Sign out and come on back in.
Okay.
Dave, what'd you think of last night's game last night?
Well, obviously, I think as Dom mentioned before, I think that was the rain out really helped the Yankees last on Monday night, even though I was kind of hoping it would not get rained out early until it obviously came out of hand. I didn't want the game ending at 2 a.m. So I think that, Nestor was key, especially having the better pitcher. Nestor's the better pitcher, but he's also lefty, and that neutralizes Cleveland's best hitters. We want Ramirez batting right-handed, and you want to neutralize Naylor, who's a tough hitter against righties, and he loves those moments. So I thought that was big for the Yankees, getting Nestor to pitch Game 5. It's gonna bite them a little bit now, because I would have loved to have Nestor pitch in Game 1 of this series, again, to neutralize a little bit, even though Alvarez hits lefties, but you certainly want lefties facing Alvarez and Tucker. They're two big power hitters in that lineup. So a little bit of the positives turned into a negative. But, I'll take the wins. I'll take the fact that Rizzo and Stanton and Judge had some big RBIs. Obviously, Stanton and Judge has home runs. We're going to need those guys big time. We don't win without them.
Dave, let me just say that yesterday in the clubhouse, we just wanted to get there. Okay,
Yeah,
we didn't care
sure.
when Nestor was pitching. We just wanted to go to Houston.
Agreed.
And
I'm
now
sure
with the
it's the case.
scenario, Dom, you were responsible for preparing a catfish hunter in that big World Series game in a similar situation like our boy Nestor yesterday. What did you say to Catfish in order to prepare him before the game and during the game?
Well, we had a great group of guys, Ray, back then. We had a lot of fun, and I'm sure that you play so many games, during the course of the year, 162, and then another, whatever it is, 12, 13 games, whatever it may take, and you have to approach each game, okay, the same way. And I'm sure you've heard that. It's kind of like a cliche, but you have to just go out there like every game, and you got to try to slow the game down, and you have to try to you have to prepare yourself, and then you have to make sure that you keep your wits. You got to make sure that you're very calm. I know it's not easy, but these guys are professionals.
Yeah, but Dom, I'm going to cut you right now. I want to know, just like the fans want to know, what did you say to Catfish before he took on that game against the Dodgers in '78?
I really didn't say anything to him. It's what he said to me.
Okay, then what did he say?
He said to me, Dom, I already bought my ticket to go home in the morning because we ain't going to a Game 7. He says,
Wow.
Tonight.
Nice.
He says,
Nice.
I got to go hunting tomorrow. He said, I want to go hunting tomorrow.
Hey, you know what?
Well,
I find Dom and Dave and Steve and what's that other guy's name in the Ray?
Harry.
You know what I find, and I see this in entertainment, but I also see it in sports. There's a magic ingredient that all champions have, and I think that guy Reggie had it, of course. When the time gets right and the spotlight comes on and they rise to the occasion, and I don't think you can teach that. You can train for it in some ways. But there's a championship pedigree that happens with champions. Magic Johnson had it. The great players, the great ones have it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Dom and Ray, I would ask you guys, because you guys spend a lot of time in the dugout, and I haven't in terms of with Major League Baseball players. But you guys could probably, I would imagine you guys could see it. You could feel it with the players, guys who are not afraid of the moment, and guys who might be a little bit tight. Because it seems to me, I'd rather, one of the reasons why I love Nestor going out there last night, and I kind of feel pretty good about the Yankee pitchers in general. I don't think they may get beat, but they don't seem like they're going to be overwhelmed by the moment. So a Catfish is a perfect example in 78. He was the comeback player of the year. Certainly wasn't the pitcher he was in the early and mid 70s at that stage of his career. But you knew if he got beat, it's just because he didn't have his good stuff. He wasn't going to get beat. Catfish Hunter was never going to get beat because the moment was too big. And that's what I love about some of these guys who go out there and pitch. And you guys could probably see that. And you probably know who the guys who are tight as a drum and probably are not going to last very long as well. But I don't know if you could speak to that a bit.
Well, the one thing I'm going to mention is, and Dom knows this, you would have a Catfish because he just knew how to pitch. He was a genius on the mound. But another guy like that was Louis Tiant, who pitches like Nestor, or Nestor pitches like him.
Right.
And Dominic, how would you prepare a Louis?
Well, Louis was a one-of-a-kind guy, and he did what Nestor is doing now, but he did that on a more consistent basis. He did that like maybe every 3 pitches. Nestor does it once every couple of innings, where he does that back turn and all of that stuff, But he used to do that a lot, and he would work on that in the bullpen, because you have to work on that. That takes a lot of skill. People don't realize it. You know what kind of balance you have to have when you do that over the mound like that, and then throw a strike, and then throw a curveball strike, not only a fastball strike.
And when they interview him, they say he wants to make sure he throws a competitive pitch after he does all that. So he's definitely in the zone of what he's doing. But Ray, you got a chance to chat with Nestor couple of days ago. Let's check out this interview for a second.
Everybody remembers this man. Everybody knows this man. One of the most popular Yankees in New York City. Tell us how you feeling.
I feel great. It's fun to be a part of the Yankee organization, and I love that the fans are always behind me and rooting for me. So I appreciate all that, and hopefully I can bring more moments of joy to the fan base here in New York.
Hey, in New York, we had guys like Sparky Lyle, like Mariano, and now Nasty Nestor. You have become a cult figure. What does that mean to you?
Like I said, it feels great. I see a whole bunch of mustaches around the ballpark. I see a whole bunch of Nasty Nestor shirts. So it's always a good feeling to see that and realize that you have a lot of people behind you and supporting you the whole way through.
You might be making a movie this winter. Is that true?
I have no idea about that.
You will be hearing the offers.
But if they approach me, I'll be willing to listen.
All right. Good to hear. Hollywood, he's coming.
Do you see? He exudes confidence.
Absolutely,
right.
He does.
You know what I mean? Even in his interviews, he's confident. You know what I mean? He's cool. And that's because he's consistent. That's because he feels like he can win at any time. He feels like he's playing the kid's game, in a man's body, in a man's stadium.
Yeah.
But he's still, listen, and you know what, Ray, Nestor reminds me a little bit of Catfish. Catfish never threw the same pitch, the same speed, twice in a row. That's why Catfish was successful, only throwing 92 miles an hour in those days.
Right.
He didn't throw very hard, Catfish, especially at the end of his career, because I think if they had guns at the end of his career, he probably was 87.
Yeah. But Dom, let's go back in time for a minute. Sandy Alomar Sr., what did he mean to you? And then Ray also, because we have an exclusive interview.
That was before Dom.
Yeah. Yeah, Sandy and I actually never was in Sandy's company as far as on the baseball field.
Well, Steve doesn't understand that when you were there, Sandy was like 10 years old, 12 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm not that old, am I?
No, I'm talking about. We're talking about senior. I mean junior. I'm talking about junior.
Yes.
Of course. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was
Look,
reminded
like a baby over here.
of Chris Chandler's hitting that home run in '76. Sandy Alomar Sr. was on deck, but you got the chance to talk to Junior a few days ago before the Indians played the Yankees. Let's check out that interview.
Hey, so I'm going on almost 50 years in this game, and a lot of it at the beginning was taking care of you, your brother, and Barry Bonds. What do you remember about that?
I remember while the Yankees were playing ball, we were in the stand playing with cup balls and playing with handballs and stuff like that. The fans in between the hot dog stands and the beer stand and all that. And people complaining, hey, there's some kids playing out there. Hey, we just like playing ball, enjoying the game.
Hey, and who was the better ping pong player, you, your brother, or Barry Bonds?
Oh, wow. I think Robby was pretty good. We all play good ping pong, but I can't remember at that time who was the best, but I think Roberto was pretty good.
So he would beat Barry?
Oh, if you ask Barry, nobody can beat Barry. We were kids in Arlington here in New York. Him and Ricky Bond, we used to play cup balls in the stands, in the concourse. And you know my favorite player was?
Thurman Munson.
That's when I was 15, baby. I love my dad, you know.
15.
The captain.
Thank you, brother.
Very
cool. Right.
All the respect.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Did anybody hear an interview with Bieber yesterday after the game or today?
No.
I'm just very, very shocked that they did not put him on the mound. I know that they were concerned about his shoulder. I know they were concerned.
Dom, I was with Sandy yesterday, as you saw.
Yeah.
And Bieber was not ready to pitch.
But they did say that he would be available to pitch if it went extra innings or they didn't have anybody left.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah.
You were with us for a long time, right?
Yeah.
We say what we gotta say.
No, I get it. I'm just.
He was not ready to pitch.
Why don't they just say he's not available?
No, because of psychological warfare. You want to be looking over your shoulder.
Well,
and now it's more so than ever before.
Is some of it just all hands on deck, though? I mean, who knows? Aaron Boone can pitch if you have to, I guess.
Yeah, but you got to, Robby, you got to remember, it's not like it used to be where you could bring a guy in and throw to one hitter and get him out.
That's
true. And you got to bring this guy in, and he's got to face three guys.
Yeah.
And this guy's hurting.
I just found it a little odd that no reporter. I mean, you see, whenever there's a controversy, you see it all over. Everybody's on it.
If it's leaked.
Nobody went to this guy afterwards.
I bet you.
And he said what they wanted him to say.
I bet you. I agree with Dom. I think if he was a Yankee, they'd been all over Boone. They would all been over Cashman. It would have just been a greater level of intensity.
The Cleveland Indians
the other night they went after Clay Holmes and Severino after Boone didn't bring in Holmes.
Yeah.
And they shared their mind with them.
See, but that's a whole different ball game because everybody was BSing everybody. You understand? In this situation, Cleveland knew that this guy was not going to be able to pitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move it along. Ray, you interviewed David Cone, and this is interesting what he had to say. Let's check out that interview.
So, Coney, playoff baseball, anything like it?
Nothing like it. Every pitch matters. Everything's so magnified. Big game for the Yankees here. They need to win this one.
Now, Coney, you've been through all of these wars. Is it fair to say that when you've been through the war, you can give that to the next guy, to the guys that are playing?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's a comfort level if you're around players with experience, but there's certain lessons you have to learn for yourself too.
No,
you have to go through yourself.
And now you are the type of guy that we've seen. You're into the analytics, but you're also into the aspect of heart.
Sure.
Well, how do you explain that?
Well, there's only so many things that numbers show. You know, there's still the human element. There's still sort of an emotional IQ. How you handle pressure matters, and that's hard to measure. And you know, analytics. A lot of times, analytics doesn't claim to measure those things. So there's only so much it can measure. But certainly, the human element's a big part of the game.
Well, when we're watching you every Sunday on ESPN and also on Yes, we feel like we got a manager, a coach. You take that as a compliment?
That's a great compliment. It really is. I just love the game. I love being a part of the day in and day out action.
Well, it comes out. Thank you, David Cohn.
My pleasure, Ray. Good to be on.
Great interview.
David Cohn, class act.
He looks like he can still play, doesn't he?
He's come a long way, boy, as a sportscaster. I'll tell you that.
He's great.
He is terrific. He's one of the best around. And let me tell you, he's even a better person.
Oh, wow.
He's a better person.
You
can tell by that interview how genuine he is with Ray.
Yeah. You know, he seems like he mixes old school because he's such a knowledgeable guy, old school stuff, but he also knows all the analytics, the sabermetrics. He's able to talk to the both sides of it because he's so knowledgeable. And so he mixes both those things. Very few people. Usually, people are either old school, they're new school. He's both, and he's funny doing it too. He's very.
Hey, David, let me ask Dave a question here, and Dom, you chime in on this if you hear. What I was hearing when David Cohn was talking, he was talking about you have to measure, of course, analytics, take it into account, but then also you have to use the eye test, you have to use the heart test, and what's going on. And so, for example, in the game the other night, when I was screaming and yelling at the TV, our pitcher had a 2-hit shutout going through 5, and they take him out because they don't want anybody to face when the lineup turns over the third time. They don't want the batters to face the pitcher. Is that what David Cohn was trying to say? Maybe you use the eye test a little bit instead of
the Dodgers. The Dodgers are one of the teams that really stick to the script, as you know. Okay,
yeah, I know it so well.
And I'm going to tell you something. The Rays are like that also. Okay, the Rays in the American League and the Dodgers in the National League.
Maybe that comes from Andrew Friedman then, huh? Because
that comes from Andrew Friedman and his group of guys that are up there. I don't know. They probably spend more money on analytics now than they do scouting. You know, and
absolutely.
And what happens is, it was like a few years ago when Richie Hill was it Hill that was in?
Hill.
One hit going in 5 innings. They took him out and they lost. It happened with Snell a couple of years ago.
Right.
Snell with Tampa Bay. He had a 1-hitter going. He gave up his second hit in the 6th inning. They took him out.
That happened last night.
That's why he's with San Diego now. They traded him because he was pissed.
Yeah.
You know?
Tom, it happened last night, Tom. It happened last night with Wheeler. It happened last night with Wheeler. 1-hitter through 83 pitches that took out Wheeler last night. Worked out, but who knows?
Well, you could take what was that? The 8th inning they took him out or something?
Right.
All right, they took him out for the closer. I can understand, but in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
5th inning.
Whole different ball game.
Now, gentlemen, Willie Randolph is near and dear to everybody. The player, a fan. Manager. I mean, there he is.
Yeah.
Ray, you had the opportunity to talk with him after last night's game. Let's check out Willie's response after the Yankees beat the Indians.
45 years ago today, you won your first world championship. 45 years ago today.
Is that right? Really?
Yes, sir. This is the night that Reggie hit those 3 home runs.
Wow.
How do you feel, Willie?
How appropriate is that? I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday, and he's such an historian. I didn't really believe that and know that or whatever. But you know what? It's October in the Bronx. This is what we play for. So you know what? First leg is down. We got to win the championship in the American League and then get ready for the playoffs. So go Yankees, go.
Willie, I was watching you all day, and you were like really into this game, even though you weren't playing in the game. Why, Willie?
I threw out the first pitch, threw a strike right down the middle. Okay, so I went downstairs, got a hook from Judge, got a hook from Fenton. They both went deep, you know. So you know what? The vibe is good. I love those guys. I go to spring training with them every year, and I'm just so happy for Boone, the Yankee organization. And so you know what? You know, this is 09. We got to go, man. You know, we got a lot of time to get this done, but we got to kick the ass of the Houston Astros, and we got to ready for whoever's ready for the championship. World Series, let's go.
Willie Randolph said it right there. Thank you, Willie.
All right. Love you, man. All right.
Willie's the man.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, you know, really, I'm in mourning because of the Dodgers getting beat by the Padres, and you have to rub salt into the wound by remembering 1977 and Reggie and the 3 home runs. Thank you for that.
So Robby, we've been doing this show for 3 years, and this is the first time you never wore a Dodger uniform.
I know. I mean,
is that a coincidence? I think not.
This is the first time. I can't put it on. It hurts so much. This one really hurts. I was reading a thing. This is maybe the most terrible loss the Dodgers have ever had. You can go back to 1951, Bobby Thompson hitting the home run. 1962, the Giants beating the Dodgers in the playoffs. Jack Clark hitting the home run against the Dodgers. You know, on and on. Always wait till next year, but this is the worst ever because this was a really good Dodger team. We should have won that game. And a lot of people are out for Dave Roberts' head. I hate to say it, and he's your buddy, I know, and he's a good guy. But man, he's you know, it's really disappointing.
But Robby, let me put it to you like this: you're doing a big show at Radio City Music Hall, right?
Yeah.
Frankie Valli gives you some music, and he says, "We're playing this," and you say, "This isn't right," and Robbie and Frankie says, "Go with it." What are you going to do?
Well, you do fight it. I mean, but at the same time, well, are you saying Dave Roberts is not pulling the reins?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did.
I'm talking about Frankie Valli.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Frankie Valli's Andrew Friedman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, big time. You know, it's tough.
Hey, let me say this to you guys. The Dodgers played San Diego. San Diego is no slouch.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They are no slouch. They've got 4 great starting pitchers. They got a nice bullpen, and they got some guys that can smack the ball around.
That's right.
Soto, Machado, Cronenworth.
Yeah.
They got a whole bunch of good guys, man. Let me tell you
Bell.
something. And they don't even have Tatis.
Right.
You know?
They're going to be better next.
They stifled Mookie Betts, right?
Yeah.
They stifled Turner.
Yeah.
They stifled a lot of guys. It happens in a short series. That's why I was so happy to see Judge snap out of this and Stanton, because short series, they need these guys.
Well, here's something else I read, that this goes across this whole playoff system. 5 games is not fair to teams that win 100 games in a season.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Yeah, but it's not fair. You go 162 games, you win over 100 games in a season, and then you're on the line in 5 games. It's not right. 7 games, why not?
You can lose 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Well, we could go back and forth real quick before we say goodbye to Dave. Dave, Yankees or Astros? Who's winning?
I got to take my team. I got to take the Yankees, of course, but it's going to be Judge and Stanton. Judge and Stanton have to be big. If they're not big, we're going to lose because they're the offense. You know, Houston could have a couple of their big guys get shut down and it'll be okay because they have just the depth of pitching. Judge and Stanton, one of those guys has to hit a home run every night, and it's got to be with a guy on base. They got to produce. They got to score some runs in the series.
Judge is up right now. Just ground it out.
There we go. Well, Dave, thank you so very much for joining
guys.
us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
But Dom, we were at the tryout the other day, and we have a video that we want to show before we bring our next guest, segueing this amazing young man, 16 years old. Let's check him out.
When Landis was little, He had a little ball and bat in the house. That's all we ever heard was baseball, baseball, baseball.
I first found out I was 8 months pregnant, that he was missing parts of each of his limbs. I don't even know how to explain that day. That day was just by far the hardest day I've ever had.
This baseball is something I didn't even dream of him wanting to do.
This takes hours and hours of practice, right, bud?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's told me he's going to be the first baseball player to be missing all 4 limbs.
Good job, buddy.
Ah, that hurts. I know there's going to be times that it's going to be hard for him, but with the right equipment,
Yeah, there you go.
with the right tools, with the right people supporting him, I don't know what that kid will accomplish in his life.
When I grow up,
I want to play baseball. I'm headed to high school, and my goal is to make the varsity baseball team.
Playing Little League is one thing. Landis is going to have to work a lot harder than the average kid to be able to play at the high school level.
He has had coaches over the years tell him, you can't play baseball. He has had kids tell him, you can't play baseball. And he has just looked at them, and he doesn't say anything, because then he just goes out and shows them.
I've always had challenges in my life, but that's never scared me. Everybody's got something that they've got to work through. I know all odds are against me right now on making this team.
There's something that's inside this kid that makes him different than most every other kid.
People seeing me how I am, they wouldn't think I'm here to play varsity baseball. Accelerate. But I'm here to prove everybody wrong and show them that I can. It's unbelievable.
We're getting ready to play on Victory Field. It's in 78 days.
Shoot three! Right here, go to it, 3!
My name is Landis Sims, and I believe anything is possible.
He is an earth angel, God sent. But Ray, what's the concept of the tryout?
The tryout is a project that Armando Gutierrez, the main producer, myself, and a few others have been working on for about 5 years. We did the initial pilot with Gene Michael and Bucky Dent. The pandemic came. Gene Michael died, unfortunately. And Armando this year decided that he was going to come back with it, found the money from one of the networks. And we were off to the races again. We brought in Dom Scala, among others, to be one of the main judges, coaches. And we also have Brian Cashman's daughter, Grace, as executive producer. And the key component is that I don't care if you're a horse or a man or a woman or a cow, if you can get your baseball glove into a hoof, you can try out. You understand what I'm saying? No prejudice scenarios on anything. And that's why when they said they were bringing in Landis, I was actually quite excited because he can play.
That's right.
You know, bring him on. Let's go.
He can play. And Dom, what were your thoughts about Landis before we bring him on?
I sit here watching that video, and I'm just in awe of this young man. The game is hard enough when you have your hands and your feet. I can just imagine what he's gone through, and the fortitude that he has to continuously keep trying and trying and trying. I know it's not easy. I know it's a great story, but it's not easy what he's doing. Not at all. When I saw him the other day, my mouth was open. And when he finished hitting, I couldn't believe he hit every ball that was thrown to him. And there was a lot of people that didn't. I was the first guy to give him a standing ovation. I stood up and everybody else stood up in the place. It was so heartwarming to see this kid. And he's such a nice boy, too. He's such a nice kid also.
Right. We're going to bring him on. We're going to bring him on, Dom. But let's check out that moment you were talking about, and then we'll bring in Landis Sims.
Yeah.
He just tapped the ball. He's going to be 20%, 30%. That's amazing. So impressive.
Landis.
Hey, what's up, Landis?
Hey, how you go? Thanks for having me.
You were an incredible young man.
Wait, Landis, thanks for combing your hair, man.
But Landis, when you watch this video from the other day, what does that mean to you to be on the field?
You know, it's everything to me to kind of get to see, what I've worked hard for my whole life pretty much kind of start to pay off a little bit. But then at the same time, it's, showing me that there's still opportunities for me to take advantage of and more work to be done.
And you've fought against all odds since birth. Talk about your passion and your desire to play baseball from a young age.
Just from the time I was super little, it was kind of my first love almost. When I was 2 or 3, just kind of playing in the yard or in the living room with, squishy balls or whatever. Just kind of, it's always been my favorite thing to do. Just I want to play baseball, and, I haven't really let the challenges I face every day stop me.
Well, Landis, the thing that I really like about you is that there were a lot of players there that you out-hit. So it wasn't like a sympathy thing. You earned your keep, and that's what I dug.
Yeah, that's, one of the biggest things I've really worked on the past few years, getting ready for, varsity baseball is, my swing, getting quicker with it, creating more power, and just being more efficient.
Landis, you have the heart of a champion, young man, and I've seen it. We were talking earlier about the heart of a champion with Reggie Jackson and those guys who rise to the occasion. And what you have, and you have the exact same thing that Frankie Valli has. Frankie Valli is the most tenacious human being I've ever known in my life. His success is not just based on talent. I do believe that God gives us all gifts, unique gifts and talents, and he's given you very unique gifts and talents, but he's given you the heart of a champion, and you can conquer mountains with that heart, brother.
Absolutely, and that's kind of been my thing growing up. Is just, my faith has been what's got me to my point there to this point. Without God, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Amen.
Landis, the thing that I also admire are your parents, because I have 4 kids, and they're all, they have everything that God gave them as far as their bodily function, etc. And it was hard for me to be a parent in dealing with their whatever things they were going to achieve in life. And I can see that your mom and dad really put their heart and soul, everything they had, into you and never let you quit. Am I off base?
No, it's definitely it. My mom, especially, just kind of through the years, has really been my biggest supporter and always pushed me to, continue to better myself, whether it's, better myself playing baseball or it's just better myself as a person in general.
Well, tell your mom and dad that I love them from the standpoint of who they are.
I'll do that for you.
Thank you.
Now, Landis, Dom, your mic is muted. Landis, we spoke the other day about a major league pitcher, Jim Abbott. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. We had a little clip, about a minute, of Jim Abbott talking about how he overcame his challenges. Let's listen to this together.
How did you come to embrace that what you were able to do on the baseball field was extremely special?
Well, it took some time. You know, I was born missing my right hand, and honestly, I never wanted to make a big deal about that, and I still don't. You know, I know a lot of people have had it a lot worse than me, and a lot of blessings came my way. And for a long time, my hand was something that I fought against, you know, and I didn't want to be labeled as the one-handed pitcher or disabled or something like that. But honestly, as I grew up, and when I got to the major leagues, and I saw how many kids out there look to major leaguers as their heroes, as their role models, as somebody that they can aspire to, you know, I realized that there's almost a responsibility to that. You know, I'm able to tell a story of yeah, I played baseball. A lot of people can relate to baseball stories, but I played with one hand, and you can do something. You may not be able to do it just the way everybody else does it, but that doesn't mean you can't do it just as well. And I get cards and letters and emails and tweets to this day from people all over the United States, parents with kids facing a similar challenge, and that's my message, and that's what's great about this card set, because it helps tell the story of, yeah, I had one hand and I played baseball, but Curtis Pride, he's deaf and he played, and we had other great players who, you know, are cancer survivors, and other players who are legally blind and faced all kinds of challenges. And baseball is a great game in that they don't care how you do it, they just care that you can do it, and that's why I'm proud to be a part of this whole message.
Landis, what do you think?
You know, I've kind of, you know, I've talked to Jim Abbott a couple times, you know, seen a couple videos of his before. So, you know, he's always kind of been in the back of my mind. And like he said, he didn't originally want to be labeled as the one-handed pitcher. That's kind of where I was at. I didn't want to be the baseball player missing my hands and feet, but I've kind of accepted that role, that there's people looking up to me, people that are in the shoes that I was in 5 or 6 years ago that want to play, you know, a sport they love. So I'm, you know, to the point where I'm willing to do what it takes to try to help them reach their goals.
Well, let me just say this. When Landis came out on Saturday, and remember, we're in New York, and some of those guys were like gang members, racketeers, and they were the first ones clapping and cheering you, man. I that's what I found heartwarming. You know, you're like bringing old people together.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and getting to know some of, you know, the different people from different places around the country. You know, one guy I got to know a little bit was from Canada, so, you know, just getting to kind of create relationships with other people was, you know, a really good time.
Well, all I know, there was a Puerto Rican guy over there that was saying, I want to get him to get some rice and beans, and I said, leave Landis alone.
Hey, Landis, what fostered your love of baseball? It said in the video clip, obviously, from the time you were just a wee tyke, but what really motivated that in the beginning?
Really, it was just kind of my family. My family played, you know, slow pitch softball, so being at the field with them while I was really little, you know, just playing in the dirt, always being around a baseball field growing up, that was just kind of all I knew. And then, you know, I looked up to all these different people that were playing. So that was just kind of something that I wanted to do.
Hey, Landis, this is Coach Dom here. I'm in awe of you. I know I played many years of baseball. I know how hard it is with all 4 limbs. I mean, you have no limbs and doing a great thing. But I saw in one of those clips where your dad threw you the ball and you tried to catch it and it hurt. Am I correct that it hurt your hand?
Yeah.
People don't realize that you're hitting like a limb there. You don't have like a hand there to feel it. What is that? I mean, what is that like? I mean, then you got to come back from that. Some people would just say, oh, I can't do this anymore. What makes a guy like you come back from something like that?
I think part of it, you know, because I'll go through, you know, all kinds of different pains with my legs. You know, something's not fitting right, take a wrong step, something goes wrong. like that. If I catch something, just right, it's just hitting like right on the end of the bone there. But just my love of the game, and then my want to go out and kind of prove people wrong that I can continue to play is kind of what keeps bringing me back.
Yeah,
it's funny you should say that. I had a little boy this year in my camp in the summer. He was 7 years old, and his mom wrote on his registration form that I don't really want to say this because he don't want anybody to know, but he only has one. He has 1 foot, and he had a clay foot because he couldn't get a prosthesis because he was too young, and he was running with a clay foot, and he won the fastest time in his group with a clay foot. So I was in awe of this kid in my camp. And then you came along, and I said, I mean, my mouth was wide open, and I just want to say, God bless you. And I hope you have my vote, and I hope that you go on and you do something big in the tryout. I really do.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Well, Landis, you are 16 years old. You signed a one-day contract with the Yankees. You signed a one-day contract with the Padres. Sorry, Robby.
Right.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, hopefully finishing up college, and then I want to kind of go out of college and start getting into coaching professionally, and hopefully after that work my way up to be a manager.
Nice.
Very good.
Like
Very good.
I like it. Maybe you could bring Dom Scal as your bench coach.
Might have
What do you
to.
think? What do you think of analytics?
Hey, you can get Ray Negron as your bat boy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Batman.
Batman. Yeah.
Background singer, too. There we go.
That's right.
Don't get him started.
Thanks, Robby.
So, Landis, who's winning the World Series this year?
I gotta go with the Yankees. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to. But I'd love nothing more to see the Padres playing against them. Get to see Joe. Hopefully get him one win. Hopefully the Yankees can win in 5, but let Joe get him a win.
Real quick, there's another video out there we're not going to show tonight, but Joe Musgrove, pitcher of the Padres. Tell him about your relationship with him.
Yeah, so I met him 2 years ago. It was like the winter off season before my freshman year, getting ready for high school baseball. And, I went out to San Diego. He had just gotten traded to San Diego, and, worked out with him. He kind of helped me out with some mechanics, like stuff mechanic-wise, throwing, and then also kind of footwork to take advantage of what I don't have really, kind of, speed things up to make up for lost velocity or whatever. So, just kind of starting off with that, and then, we kind of created a friendship from there. And, I've been pretty close with him the last few years, and at the end of November, we're going to Antarctica together, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Wow.
Well, make sure he pays for everything. He just signed a $100 million contract.
Yeah, Dom could be your agent, too. There you go. Landis, thank you. God bless you, young man.
We will be following this track all the way through the tryout, okay?
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
Maybe we'll see you in Florida, my man. Take care.
There we go.
All
There we
right.
go.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Robby, I know you're on the road with Frankie and the boys.
Yes.
We have a video to end tonight's show. What we got?
This is from the Robinson Brothers All-Star Homecoming in Litchfield, Illinois, my beloved hometown of Litchfield, Illinois. We were there last weekend, and we had 2 concerts as a fundraiser for the local hospital, St. Francis Hospital in Litchfield, Illinois.
All right. Thank you, Dom. God bless. Thanks, Robby.
Yeah,
Let's
all right,
end it
guys.
tonight. Reach out.
Looks like those Denaro lessons paid off.